Basically, there's rabbis all around in 108 countries in the world.
So there's like 7,000 rabbis here?
Nationwide that have synagogues and outreach programs around the world. And they all get together once a year to meet with each other and reinforce each other. So, like, you kind of share ideas. It used to be back in the day when there was no WhatsApp, no social media. You would kind of like meet up in person and exchange ideas and exchange thoughts or different programs or projects you do, and share your ideas with other rabbis and kind of implement them in your location or wherever.
So they've been doing this for a long time.
So they've been doing this for many years. This is, I think, the 40th or 50th year. We have thousands of rabbis, kind of like emissaries around the world. And what they do is, I mean, like we have in Turkey and Russia and in Thailand, anywhere. So wherever there are Jews around the world, which there are, either backpackers or people that live there or families that have been living there for many years and never moved out, even like places like Iraq or Iran. I mean, there's synagogues in so many places, and you know, there's families that have been living there and never moved out. Like, you know, not all of them moved to America or to other civilized or countries.
Were you raised in a Jewish family? Okay.
So we wrote.
I'm a Christian.
Oh, nice.
And I think, like, really the only difference between Judaism and Christianity is believing that Jesus was the Christ. So
okay, there's I guess there's other differences too, but Judaism, not only is it a a very ancient religion, it's also the mother to Christianity and Islam. I mean, most Christians believe in the Old Testament.
Yes, we do.
Jewish people, Muslims believe in Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. They actually worship they go to their grave sites. They pray there on either a daily basis or weekly basis. So I mean, the basics and the foundations seem to be aligned. It's just that, I mean, through the generations, things have evolved and people went their route, you know.
Well, we would say that the New Testament is the fulfillment of the Old Testament.
Correct.
And
okay, so that's
it quotes a lot of scriptures from the Old Testament.
Right.
And from what I understand, the Jews believe in the Christ, but just that he hasn't come yet. Is that correct?
We believe in Messiah.
Right. So where's the Messiah?
And the question is, I mean, we believe in the Messiah, and correct, Messiah has not come yet, but there are certain guidelines in what Maimonides explains who the Messiah is and what makes you qualify to be the Messiah. So we base our belief on that qualification on who Messiah could be. So as long as the Messiah could fit into those guidelines, and all those guidelines, whether it's the family it's from or the type of person.
So there's qualifications. Do you believe somebody's going to meet those qualifications one day?
Yes.
And if so, how soon? Or nobody knows, right? Nobody knows the time
I mean,
of the hour.
it's a matter of beliefs, and we believe that someone's going to meet those qualifications, and there is someone that meets those qualifications and qualifies to be the Messiah.
Is that person on earth now? Or it will be in the future? You're looking forward to that? Or
Right, so, I mean, there's different eras in how the Messiah is going to come, when the Messiah is going to come. Apparently there's going to be, not apparently, I mean, they say there's going to be two eras. There's going to be the time, there's actually a dispute between Maimonides and Nachmanides on if the Messiah is going to first reveal himself, and then the Messiah is going to come, and then all the dead, the resurrection of the dead is going to happen after that, or the resurrection of the dead is going to happen, and then the Messiah is going to come following the resurrection of the dead. So
okay, now that's prophesied in the New Testament. Is it also in the Old Testament? The raising of the dead?
Respectfully, I don't know. I have never read the New Testament, so I don't know. Whatever I'm saying, I mean, it's either in the Old Testament or something that has been read or taught in the Maimonides, in which I'm referring to right now.
Is there any chance, as far as you're concerned, that the New Testament could be correct? If you read it, could be correct? Like if you...
I'm assuming if you're saying that there's portions from the Old Testament, so yes, there might be portions that are correct, but...
Meaning that it was a revelation from God.
In the bigger picture, I'm not 100% sure that the New Testament as a whole is... I mean, I'm not saying it's not correct. It could be correct according to certain people's beliefs.
From what I understand, the book of Matthew...
that all the Jews believe 100% in the New Testament.
From what I understand, the book of Matthew was written to convince the Jews that Jesus was the Messiah. So that's, of course, the first book of the New Testament. That's just what I was taught in Christian college, that was the reason that the book of Matthew was written. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the 4 Gospels, they're from 4 different perspectives, and that was the perspective of Matthew.
I've never heard that. But it doesn't mean right or wrong. I just have never heard that. Religion is a very important thing for a human life, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Any religion. I'm not even saying Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Anything gives you a purpose, like they say.
Well, having a purpose on earth is one thing.
The day you're born and the day you discover why.
The thing is, in the book of John, it says that lest a man be born again, he cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. So you say the first 2 most important day in a man's life, when he's born and when he discovers why. But I say the most important thing is after this life. And I believe that this life is to discover.
After this life, a lot of your afterlife has to do with the life you're living now. So the life you live today will follow by the, once a person passes, there's, at least the Jewish beliefs are that you go up to court in heaven and you go through your day, your life and what you did and what you have accomplished. So yes, your future life, life after death is a very important thing. But at the same time, you want to have and fill your outmost potential in this life, which you have options, which you have a free will.
Do you think the afterlife can be earned as far as having a good place in heaven?
As a result of this life?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Because what we believe in Christianity is that Jesus accomplished those things for us, so we need to believe in Him. As far as my life, I'm a sinner and I need to repent.
Assuming someone doesn't keep to the Scripture or whatever, New Testament or Old Testament, what type of God, so to speak, punishment?
I don't like to talk about hell, but the Bible does talk about it.
So what does the Bible say about that?
Well, it says you don't have to go there.
Oh.
And that's what I focus on, because all you have to do is accept Jesus to not go to hell. And for me, it's not hard. It's like, okay, fine, I wasn't really doing anything anyway, I don't have anything alternate to that. I don't have anything that I would choose over that. I don't have another religion where I would say, no, I want this religion. I don't want Jesus. I don't want Jesus. I want this other thing. There just isn't anything else that I found on the earth that satisfies. This is how I see it. It's not where I've come from. It's where I'm going. Yes. So I'm kind of, in fact, there's a scripture that says, let your conversation be in heaven. It says you are dead and your life is hid with Christ in God. That's in Colossians. And that's how I look at it this world is passing. It's just not going to be here that long. I'm over 50. I'm over halfway through my life, but I'm going to spend eternity with God in heaven. So that's just much more important to me. I enjoy this life. I'm grateful to God for little things, but they don't compare to what I'm hoping to get one day. I tried to give him some materials. I mean, his whole life is centered around Judaism. It would take a lot for him to come to a whole totally different belief. But what does Jesus call us to do? Give everything, give up everything, lay down everything. And I think that's the one thing I've got going for me. The one thing is that I have laid down everything. I just haven't found anything else in the earth that's interesting to me at all. And to be honest, for whatever reason, everything I've tried, I've failed at. I mean, I'm really just a giant failure for Jesus, but I'm doing his work. And I think in the next world, I'm going to see that really has a lot of value. I pray for this man, this wonderful rabbi. The Lord knows if he's going to bring him to faith. And we all have a lot that we have to lay down. He would have to lay down his whole belief system that he was raised with. But it is a belief system that isn't going to get you into heaven. There is only one way into heaven. There's only one name given whereby we must believe to be saved. And either you believe that and you accept it, or you don't. And like I said to him, I've never had any reason to not accept Jesus. It's kind of what I was always taught. I think there are other things that you can believe. I don't think anything is anywhere near as good. And the most important thing is nothing else is true. It's just something that makes you feel good in this life, I guess. But what is this life? It's a vapor that appears for a short time and then vanishes away. That's all it is. So, you know, God bless this guy. He sure was a nice guy and a likable guy. Again, I don't know if you saw it, but he didn't receive the materials that I gave him. But I'd rather have him do that than twist it up in the back seat or something like I had somebody else do. I know that I'm on good ground with God. I know I'm doing God's work, and I'm very excited about that. And, you know, that's about all that I have to say. Just God bless this man, and please bring him to a saving knowledge of you by whatever means.